He say, she say, we say, I say, hearing out them points of views when I see it my way. Yes it goes, yes it knows, maybe so's, probably not. Shoulds and coulds, do's and don'ts, your wills and won'ts is how you rock. Politicians and religions, own your house or are you renting? Is you married, is you single? Meta interest when you mingle, turn out to be someone you into. So how long before the bed get wrinkled? Raising children when they tripping, is it time out or do you whip them? Opinions and decisions, hunches, intuitions, may or may not get it, cause people's experience different. Check the prejudice, set the dough, speak the mind when you get the flow. Tell the truth if it's sweet or sour, cause the hour we spitting that fire.
Hey everyone, this is Spitting Fire. I'm your girl R.A. Jackson. This is another episode of R.A.'s Rant. Remember, the rant consists of aggressive language, aggressive tone, plenty of cuss words, and it's not intended for children. Please do not let anyone under the age of 18 listen to the rant. And remember, everything in a rant from the beginning to the end and throughout, it's all alleged. Okay, you're about to listen to an audio. The audio belongs to Valencia Denise Jones. Valencia Denise Jones. If you like to listen to the full audio, her link is below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Peace.
The show 323-646. Your mic is live.
Well, hello, good evening, good afternoon,
Hello,
depending on where
Judge.
you happen to be.
Good afternoon, sir.
You're getting out of here just in time because I've been getting all these inputs from Twitter. People are calling in and there's some questions they wanted responded to, but I guess you can't do that. But in synthesis, they're saying, considering the destruction of the family, particularly the black family, how can we be interested in a group that has chosen their own misfortune? So
I don't
there are
think
a lot of questions to be asked, and the other one goes basically to, if black people have suffered all that they have suffered, how can they afford in good conscience to be paying attention to a group that's destroying their family structure? So,
well, you know, it's black people.
And
it's black people.
how
It's
can
black
they?
people, black folk, white folk, Asian folk, human folk give birth to folk that come out with all kinds of realities that they did not choose. A child who was born, you know, with Down syndrome, a child that is born with 6 fingers, a child that is born with vitiligo, a child that is born to grow to be 7 feet, did not choose that. But once we are here, we all have to make a decision on how we are going to treat the human beings that we fight to bring forth in this world. And so the things that destroy the black family, whether it's, you know, fatherlessness, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's poverty, whether it's abuse, all of those things contribute. The fact that a person is giving birth to a child that feels in their heart, this is who I am. When I was 13 years old, I gave my teachers my autograph. I said, I know that I'm going to be famous, and I know that I'm going to make a lot of money, because I want to contribute to the world and make a difference. I knew that as a kid. No one had to teach me that, no one had to tell me that, and no one can talk me out of it. So,
Well,
for the people that I know, not the ones that I make assumptions about, but the people that I sit with and I listen to and I hear their stories, whether it's Asia, whether it's Africa, whether it's the Middle East, wherever I've been, and I've sit with my friends over the last 3 decades for sure, and gathering the stories of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. The person who chooses to live their true self are people that I respect. It's those of us that choose to live conservatively by the rules and guidelines of other people who tell you this is right for you. Those are the people I have a harder time respecting. But a person who can sit in their individualism, like Michael Jordan, sat with what he knew was true. When his coach told him he wasn't good enough, he's like, okay, I'm going to show you what's inside of me, and I'm going to bring that out, and I'm going to be a champion. And there are people who are marginalized in this country and in this world who are being murdered every single day because the rest of the world doesn't understand who they are. Well, I understand who they are. And part of my job is to help those that don't understand see themselves. Because as I spoke to a minute ago, I was with an Army captain last night who has a command, an Army officer with a command of 900 people. I did not know he was a trans man. We talked about his work at the Pentagon and his 20 years of service. That sounded like every other person I've ever known that has served in the military. Only at the end did he reveal that he indeed is a trans man. You cannot tell me that person is destroying a family. You cannot tell me that person is unworthy. And so as a people, because we all have that uncle that's molesting the little kid in the family, or the alcoholic, or the son that's a drug dealer. We all have those people. But we don't talk about how that's destroying our family. We aren't putting the same kind of venom toward gangs that are killing each other. So until we're willing to do that, I can't have conversations that go in circles around telling someone else that they are wrong for their choice, for their life.
Okay, let's say this. When you have to deal with a family, there's some obligations and things that you have to do whether you like them or not. So what you're doing is asking black people to say these people who do what they like to do rather than rigorously adhering to what they should or ought do is more important than our circumstances. And this very attitude, this laissez-faire thing about the rules, what is expected of you, duty, honor, obligation, are the very things that are tearing down our communities and our families. So it gets down to this. They are not the only ones that have suffered this. I can remember several high school teachers that were determined to help colored people, colored students, be happier in life by ensuring that they've got to work with their hands rather than pursuing an academic career. That's just being part of a life. Lions, tigers, grizzly bears, stuff we used to like us for a nice dinner snack or a lunch. So, I mean, humans have always faced adversity. But the main thing out there that is really sticking in people's craws is thanks to #MeToo, boys and girls can't interact like they used to because everybody's too nervous, but we're bombarded by this homosexual advocacy day in, day out, 365, 24/7. And
that's actually not true.
What you're talking about, sir, sounds suspiciously, well, it is homosexual activity. Because you're talking tranny, if it's got a penis and you're having sex with it, that's homosexuality.
That's not what we're talking about. No.
Well,
you're doing the same thing. You, my friend, are doing this. I just told you about a commanding officer in the Army. I just told you about a commanding officer.
And what you're trying to do is you're pushing your own position. You say that you had your first.
No, I'm not. Are we going to have a conversation?
16?
Are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me what I'm doing? Or are you going to ask me what I'm doing?
You said. I've been listening.
No. Are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me? Or you?
Well, sir,
I don't think you did.
Say what you said.
I don't think you did. I do not think you heard me.
I didn't? All right.
You did not. You heard me through the lens of what your own experience is.
Well, that's all we can do.
I'm a man who has never dated a transgender
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are required to filter the evidence through your own observations and experiences in life. That's a charge to a jury. And that's what happens when somebody determines whether someone lives or dies on a capital murder case. That is the way human beings determine anything. And based on my observations and experiences in life, sir, I heard what I heard. Now, you're entitled to that. But why should we switch over to supporting your position? That's the truth of the matter. When so many would say we don't need to.
But see, here's the thing. I've never dated a transgender woman. Okay? I haven't had a relationship. So people have made assumptions about me pushing an agenda through the lens of their experience. I'm saying there are people dying at the hands of black men who are in love with these women more often than not. And through the shame that you're referring to, because of the conservative nature of our
Wait, hello? Did something happen?
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
You guys got all
248-867 is your mic still live? 248-7? All right, guys, let's just cut to commercial break and then open the lines up for conversation. Here we go. I'm going to actually play the rap. Hopefully this answers a few questions because I just think people are just really angry. Here we go.
How quickly people love to spread news with no proof for child abuse. You confuse, I see you, you choose to try to make me lose, but I can't. If you try to stand in my... I'm gonna lean into my creativity. I'm gonna lean into the purpose. And the purpose is the service. That's all it's about. Love. September 27th. Love and Trauma Workshop hosted by yours truly and Miss Carmen Carrera. And on the 28th of September, the Trans March on DC. That's the only reason I posted the video in the first place, was to draw attention to an important subject, that visibility of all people is important.
Radio, DJ, one nation, one station.
We're back. Oh my God.
Okay, my take on this.
Friday the 13th.
Our guest copped out, and he pulled that old trick of my phone went dead in the midst of things heating up, and I don't think he wanted me to talk with him. See, he gave us a propaganda splurge, and he's entitled to think what he wants. He's entitled to do what he wants, but it's not something the rest of us should have crammed down our throats. He is appealing to a select audience, the choir that he is dealing with, and he is on their behalf pushing homosexuality, because even if he doesn't practice it himself, he's advocating for trans. Trannies were set forth 50 years ago as a device that what is now known as the LGBT community might use with profit to insinuate itself into the general population and cause general havoc. That is what you see so much, ranging from Michael Jackson to his androgynous, self-hating self, anti-black mindset trying to be white. You saw that. Everybody loves Michael Jackson, and you can't get on a damn elevator in America or sit in a restaurant without listening to that. You have this thing where you've got people who want to tell you about fluid gender, and yet you've got failed boys who don't make it as athletes, declaring their girls and going out and beating the pants off of women who are qualified and fit to run in a women's track meet or participate in a women's wrestling match, but who are always going to get beat in the running events and are in danger of suffering serious bodily injury or death in the full contact sports because they are women and they have women's bodies. And you've got these boys with boy bodies who hate what they are. They hate what they are and they hate what they want to be. And it is very bad for the general public to get these people who are so deep into self-hate to disseminate that hatred. Now, black people 50 years ago were deep into self-hate because we got bombarded with white propaganda. Everything was blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and blondes have more fun, and everything we saw on TV was white if it wasn't in a derogatory fashion. So what did we do? We got black and proud. And what we're getting now is I'm ashamed, I don't like what I am, I hate what I am, I hate what I want to be, and that is just disseminated throughout the entire body politic, and they don't love themselves. You you look at a gay pride parade or one passes you by when you're trying to get someplace, and you see all of these caricatures that they put on that are just self-depreciating and insulting. The other thing, you touched on it, Valerie, and by the way, I tuned in at exactly 3 o'clock my time, 4 your time, and you started playing that tape at 3:01 my time by my phone. And you started on time. But see, it's like you walk into a room.
No, actually, you heard a commercial. I had to play a commercial because they were 10 minutes late. And then also I started receiving text messages saying, we've only got 15 minutes. Now, I've been in the entertainment industry my whole life. But what I'm saying is, when we're live, be fucking on time because we are live. And I didn't have content to put in the middle of that. Then also, too, I get text messages saying, oh, are we going to be talking to the judge? When I am sitting here, I know your point. Obviously, the show hadn't been vetted because they don't understand your position. And I was sitting over here trying to support from a certain degree because I'm a huge-ass Malik Yoba, the actor fan, right? And I love the things that he say. And again, I try to set the tone a certain way, but no, couldn't do that. Because in the background, I'm getting text messages, where's the judge, where's the judge? When I know what your position is. So I tried to give him an opportunity to say some shit, and then instead it's like, oh my goodness, don't fucking treat me like I'm the little person when I'm over here running motherfucking I'm doing businesses and running networks and shit. This is the problem I have this is why I respect Cardi B so much. Because all this press and how people look down at people because they think their shit is small, I feel just like him, who's a damn big-ass real estate developer, but when people put you in a damn box, they treat you a certain way. So yeah, I have an attitude, goddammit. I do right now. Because we shouldn't have started at 3:15 your time, 4:15 my time, and then be told we ain't got but 15 minutes. And I sat here and busted my ass all fucking week putting this shit together thinking I had time to ask constructive questions to get this shit over with.
Well, see, let me say this. Nobody's faulting you. And quite frankly, dear, if you hadn't brought it up, nobody would have realized anything started late. You covered yourself gracefully. Now, what happened, let me translate from being very worldly wise. Somebody came on to propagandize something. They had their motive and their agenda, and you got taken advantage of. You acted in good faith, and that person had no intention of submitting himself to any close examination on his position. And that's exactly what happened. That thing about the phone going off, that's an old-time dodge we used to have. If it gets difficult on a phone interview, they used to tell me that when I first started my show 20 years ago. If you're on a phone interview and it gets difficult, just act like something happened, you got cut off, or your phone went dead. See, that's what got run on there. You didn't want to put out to give and take. But you see, it's like this kind of thing that you were dealing with is this. You've got a polite meeting and everybody's in suits and ties and business attire, and somebody walks in with a T-shirt on saying, I like to do it doggy style. So everybody in the room is looking around and saying, what in the devil is that? What fool walks in and saying, I like to do it doggy style? See, when you deal with somebody that's doing his kind of thing, it's like he's got on a T-shirt and everybody else is trying to do something else. Like you mentioned it. You're sick and tired of listening to people talk about sexuality all of the time. Let's get off of it. But they walk into the room with that T-shirt on, guess how I do it. And then they've got a description they want you to know, and everybody else is trying to go deal with the realities that they're there to deal with, and this T-shirt just glares. See, so it's not your fault. We just got typically work. They're going through classes and how to do this. See, you were earnest about what you're doing, but they're not honest with us. See, what does that make you if you're advocating and you are a parent and you're advocating something that works out to pedophilia? He talks about he got enticed out of his own mouth by a tranny when he was 16 years old. He's got an accusation, which is a judge, I have to say, He's innocent until he's proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of, where a tranny sex worker says it dealt with him when it was 13 and again at 15, but he's not the only one. Now, I'll take that with a grain of salt. But you see, that's one of the risks that comes out of that. That's being used to push something that everybody agrees is poisonous. Pedophilia. We don't want our children getting jacked around. But you see, we have a situation now where you're a young man and you're a young woman. You can't deal with each other because there's some kind of monster in the room that's making everything messed up. Boys and girls can't be Boys and Girls 101A anymore because of this.
Right.
But yet they get to throw this at us all day long, all the time, yada, 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 about this kind of stuff. You get in third grade classes in some states now, and they're going to teach us class, we have to deal with the contribution of homosexuals to America. Teacher, what's homosexual? Well, that's people of the same sex who have sex together. Teacher, what's sex? And then we can't even teach them about regular sex when they're in the third grade, but here you are interjecting that, and then they try to do it with an end run. Well, it's not sexual. It's like BFF, best friends forever. They can kiss, hold hands, hug, caress, and make each other feel good. So you see little 9-year-old boys walking down, holding hands and kissing each other in the mouth. Why are you doing that? Because they said it was okay in school. That's recruitment. But they're supposed to be accepted because they're born that way. That's nonsense. And he even threw that nonsense out there. They're born this way. You know, like people are born blind, but we don't put our eyes out so we can commensurate with them. We accommodate them, but they can't take over the whole damn world so nobody else can do what they can't do. You see, but that's the thing that we get thrown at us. That was just rude. That was propagandistic. And these laggards over here in the Black Caucus in D.C. ain't doing a damn thing anyway except plotting on pushing what he's trying to push and used us for. Now, I've got so many text and personal messages, what do they call it, direct messages through Twitter. It is pathetic. They don't like this. I mean, there's one or two out of every 20 or so that support him. He's right to do. Well, he's got a right to do whatever the hell he wants to do. It's America and has the First Amendment. But people are concerned about the families. And as you heard him say, what does this have to do with the family? Now, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black actors who have at least as much stature as him, calling him all kinds of bad things that I am not going to repeat. So, I mean, it's not like this is universal. I went through that nonsense in Hollywood about them trying to get me to support that. And I just said, I quit. Screw your last contract. I'm not signing it because I won't sign off on this other stuff. See, it's about choices. John Wick's 3 movies, they keep talking about consequences. Everything you do has consequences. And what this is it's corrupting our youth. It is making them confused. They don't know what the hell to do. Boys don't know how to talk to girls anymore. There are no fathers in the home. There is all kinds of poison that is spread out there. And, you know, we got one tranny in the military, and our last president, number 44, pushed that. Number 45 is accident. So, I mean, you know, what's that supposed to make a difference for? That's like we're all supposed to guide ourselves by this? And then there's rudeness. You come on, for God's sake, at least do people the courtesy of defending your position. You know, this is nothing but outright propaganda out, which I suspected in the first damn place, because he's what you call chicken shit. See, that kind of plays black. 51 years old, and he's jumping up trying to act like he's a 22-year-old rapper. And then he throws that 20-year-old tranny rapper that got done in. You know, I'm not moved because somebody died. I've been invited to 9 or 10 funerals this month alone. And we haven't even got to the middle of the damn month about somebody's family, young family member met their demise way before they were supposed to because of foolishness out there. And see,
Gotcha.
that kind of
Jackson-
thing is something to take into consideration. So I'm not concerned about any particular group. I'm concerned about the whole thing. And as far as people dying, I've signed orders setting somebody's execution date. So that doesn't phase me.
Right. Gotcha.
But we
Jackson,
have a
open up a
problem
few
we got to
mics.
deal with. And like, remember Big Meech when he came on? That was burlesque.
I do
That was
remember.
so crazy. But he stood his ground, and he went for 2 hours back and forth defending pro and con what he was doing. And this guy punks out, and he clicks his phone to come off. And he didn't even call back in, so you know it's a fake.